It's been a while since I've done one of these. So I'd like to welcome you all back to the next installment in our 60-second tips series, or not so 60-second tips. I've been doing this for a lot of years now, and I constantly hear certain themes being repeated over and over again. I wanted to do a video to discuss with you guys the crazy things people do in order to set their dogs up for failure. So number one, bringing a puppy home before the 8-week mark. Look, there's been a lot of research done in the last number of years on how important the critical socialization period is with your dog. It's that period between 3 weeks and say 16, 17 weeks where the dog's desire to be exposed to factors, the dog's desire to socialize outweighs any preconceived fears. Bringing a puppy home before the 8-week mark can have a detrimental effect on the development of your dog. I hear from people all the time saying, but my breeder told me that it was okay at 7-week mark, at 6-week mark, at 5-week mark. Generally, when I talk to people who say that, when you look into it with this breeder, it's a backyard breeder at best. Don't be listening to your breeder with that. A lot of people will say, well, it's because the mom was rejecting the puppies. Well, even if the mom was rejecting the puppies, and that doesn't happen as often as what people may think, there's still benefits from the puppies hanging out with each other. They learn so much from each other. So just think twice when that happens, and make sure you're choosing your puppy from a good quality breeder or organization. Number two, a stern no to address nipping. Love this one. So, look, I'm not going to tell you that a stern no can't work. I'm not going to get into that debate with anybody. However, when you look at it from a purely psychological perspective, your puppy is nipping or your dog is nipping at you because they want attention. Now, whether that attention is positive or negative is immaterial, especially when it comes to younger dogs. They're still getting attention. So if you're saying no, even if it's in a firm voice, you're still giving your dog attention. And your dog is just going to come back at you even harder. Once the shock of, oh, mom or dad just yelled at me wears off, the puppy's going to come back at you harder. So think twice before you engage in practices like that. If your puppy is biting at you, or if your dog is biting at you because they want attention, don't give them any attention. Wait for it. The puppy will try something else. It's your responsibility as an owner to choose what you like and then start marking those desirable behaviors. When those behaviors start working, the puppy's going to repeat them, and the negative behaviors, the undesirable behaviors, are going to start to disappear. Number three, blaming lack of training progress on human characteristics. Oh my dear. Okay, so we as humans, we've gotten very attached to our dogs. There's a reason why dogs, out of all of the creatures out on this earth, have integrated themselves in our lives so much. And we definitely tend to anthropomorphize our dogs. And that's giving them human characteristics that they really don't have. The problem with that is we're really doing a disservice to our dogs by doing that. Dogs are marvelous creatures. They have their own character. They don't need all the baggage and crap that come from human traits. Don't give them that. If your dog if your dog's training is, if you're not making progress in the training, it's not because, I can assure you, it's not because your dog is stubborn, or your dog's being a pig-headed, or your dog's being a princess, or your dog is trying to get back at you. It has nothing to do with that. The problem lies at the other end of the leash. This is an owner problem, not a dog problem. Change your training practices, and you will see better progress. Number four, and number four relates pretty closely to number three, and that's excusing, reinforcing, minimizing rude behaviors. Let me give you a scenario. You walk into somebody's house, little foo-foo dog comes out, barks and growls at you. Makes a snap at you when you go to walk by, bites at your ankles, and the owner says, oh, that's because she's a little princess. She doesn't like you in your house. That crap is crap, and it's got to be stopped. It's got to be addressed. Don't minimize those behaviors. You have an issue with your dog. Even if you don't think your dog will do any damage, and let me tell you, even a small dog can do damage. Even if it's a Chihuahua, I don't want to be bitten by your dog. So address those behaviors. At its best, your dog is unhappy with what's going on. Your dog has a knot in his stomach when he faces these things that is causing that kind of reaction. So address it. If your dog is happy, you're happy, and your visitors are going to be happy. Don't minimize the behaviors. Recognize when you have a problem, and then fix the problem. Number 5. Thinking that the backyard is a replacement for exercise. Look, I'm not going to get into a whole debate about how much you should walk your dog. Walking your dog creates all kinds of benefits, and benefits for the dog and benefits for the owners. On that note, though, don't fall into the habit of, okay, my dog needs X amount of exercise per day in order to beat him out, or X amount of minutes on a walk to beat him out. To quote a fellow trainer of mine, she said, look, if you go down that path, eventually you're dealing with a bored marathon runner. So if it takes 5 kilometers to beat your dog out one day and you're doing 5 kilometers in the subsequent days, then it's going to take 6 kilometers next week, 7 kilometers next week, and eventually you're dealing with a bored marathon runner. Now, again, walking, all kinds of benefits for dogs and owners. You talk about exposure, you talk about exercise, fresh air. So by all means, walk with the dog. But also provide other opportunities. So provide obedience sessions. Bring your dog into a park, into a field, and work with them. Don't think, however, that the backyard is any replacement for that. And if this period of time gives us any indication of what that's like, you should have sympathy for your dog. Due to COVID, we've all been housebound for a couple months. Now, multiply that by a couple years, and that's your dog's life. Yeah, I hear from people all the time, my dog's in the backyard chasing birds. Well, that's got to be a lot of birds flying overhead, a lot of running around. Your dog is going to get bored. Your dog is going to get frustrated in the backyard. Give them that outlet. Remember, that's the only outlet they have to the outside world, so give that to them. Again, being out walking, being out working, being out socializing and exposing your dogs to other things brings huge benefits, both for the dog and the owner, so take advantage of that. Now, this list, of course, is not meant to be exhaustive. I have articles on my website on almost every single one of these topics and what you should do in order to set your dog up for success. So if you go to my website, nldogwhisperer.com, go to supplementary training and Ken's blog, it'll lead you through all kinds of articles that I've written over the years on these and many other topics. So take a pick down through. If you've got any questions, by all means, don't hesitate to drop me a line. I hope everybody's being safe. I hope with the new weather that we're having, with the better weather we're having, and with restrictions being lifted, everybody's weathering the storm. Hope everybody's staying safe, happy, and healthy. So on that note, I wish you adieu. I will see you next time on the next 60-second tip. Bye-bye.